Today, I'm in Africa. Yesterday, I was in the United States. Was it yesterday? Anyway, I'm going to answer the question, do you really want to be a videographer that travels to Africa? And someone started banging on my door, like they were trying to break in. Can't get too close! It's something that I know is going to stick with me forever. So on Sunday morning, I woke up at 3 a.m., flew out of Charlotte, flew into DC, a short layover, only about an hour and a half again, called on my family, said, hey, going to Africa, I'll talk to you in a week. From there, I took the longest flight of my life. It was 13 hours long. I think I slept for about 5 hours. It's such a trippy flight because then you land, and I landed in Ethiopia, and you've skipped a day from there, and then took off to Uganda, which is where I'm now. Uganda is my first stop of the trip. I'm spending the first 3 days in Uganda, filming at a Bible college. On Thursday, I think I take off and fly to Malawi. And I'm going to spend about 3 days there before heading back to the United States. So I'm going to try to just give y'all a real look at what it's like to be a videographer that travels to Africa. Because for the longest time, that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I thought maybe it was never going to be possible. And here I am now. I can't really believe it, to be honest. My biggest fears for the week, just making sure I eat the right thing. And water also. I really don't want to mess up and drink the wrong water because you can get really sick doing that. I tried to stay awake, honestly, yesterday as long as I could. I came back to where I was staying, and I'll show you my room later. And I literally sat down for, 5 minutes and fell asleep, which was not ideal because you don't want to do that for jet lag, but I was just so tired. And then I woke up and I wandered around a little bit, and another family called the Hoax invited me, and they are also delightful. And just, had a good conversation, and then I went to bed probably 7:30 or 8 local time because I actually couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And thankfully everyone understood that, so I didn't have to stay around too late, but it was good. But today, we're here to do work, get some shots of the university, and there's also some prayer groups and a few lessons I'm going to get some shots of as well. At some point, I think I'm going to go up in an airplane. I don't know if that's today or tomorrow, but all right, let's go. All right, I just finished my first half of the day on Tuesday. So far, the biggest struggle is just finding those unique creative shots. It's really easy to do the close-ups, the mids, and the fars, but finding some creative while sleep-deprived, it's just harder to do. So that's gonna be my focus the second half of the day. See if I can find something super creative. But other than that, it's going great. At this point in the video, you may be saying to yourself, dang, I'm a way better videographer than Sam. How did he get to go to Africa? And that may be the case, but something that people often forget is it's not just about your skill with the video camera, it's how well you work with people. The company that sent me over Silent Images is an amazing production company. They do so much work to serve not only their neighborhood in Charlotte, but people all around the world. And I was able to cultivate a strong relationship with them by buying into their mission, showing them that I could represent them well, and also just trying to serve them. It's not always about the growth of your career, but how well you actually can serve other people. And so that's why I was blessed with this opportunity to go overseas. Day one is done. I'm sure y'all have seen some of the footage because I haven't seen it yet. But it was fun. It's a good day. So tired. I've become a master of 20-minute naps. Honestly, the thing that stands out to me the most about this is I could totally see how people become missionaries in Africa. This campus is full of these families, and it's like raising a family 50 years ago, it feels like. They are all working together for the same purpose. They're unified, and it's simple, It's also funny that I filmed some kids in dorm rooms today. They're doing the exact same things that I did in a dorm room. Laying on their beds, on their phones. One of them's working on their laptop, working on a computer, someone's helping them. I mean, it's like the setting is different, and maybe some of the furniture looks different, but the more you travel, the more you realize people are just people. There's some cultural differences, sure, but at the root, we're all, created in the same image. So tomorrow, flying up in a plane to go get aerial shots. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. That's all. I'm just transferring footage until I'm done, and then I'm done, and then I'm going to go to bed. All right. That's all I got today. See you tomorrow. So this is where I've been staying in Uganda. It's very nice, actually. This is where I've been sleeping. Got the netting. And the bathroom is nice, too. Sometimes you hear stories of people traveling to Africa, and they go to little villages without any water or anything, and that is certainly not the case here. Very nice place. Got up more early to try to get the sunrise, but didn't work out. Had some interviews with some of the students here, and then after that we went into the city. It was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest. Like, it's a hectic city. As you see some of the footage, it's just like always moving. You never really know what to expect. And I had people warn me about the safety of it, and so I was a little nervous about that. But we stopped at a little market and got to film some things there, and asked some of the people if I could take their video. And I was a little timid, to be honest, but they're all very nice and friendly. And when they see a camera, of course, everyone has the same reaction, no matter where you're from. They laugh and they say, "Oh, okay, I guess we can do it." And they stand there and smile. So that was cool. Second half of day 2 is the airplane. Going up in the airplane to get aerial shots. So I'm very excited about that. But until then, I'm going to take a 20-minute nap. That's what we're doing. Good night.
8 Hobbs 1243.3. 1243.3. Okay, 1205 UTC.
My guy Jeffrey told me more background about the country of Uganda. Really emphasizing, like, there's it's a very low income area, but people are so resilient that they learn how to live with what they have. It's like their basic needs are met, as in they have food, and they make everything else work. They grow accustomed to what life is, and I think that's just true everywhere. It's like in America, we can have bad days because things we're accustomed to are gone, and it's just like here. He also spoke very fondly of the people that come over here, like missionaries and the people that come and serve. And I guess foreigners have a huge respect for any foreigners that come over, no matter where they're from, whether they're from Europe or America. They love when they come because they usually bring some sort of aid. And even my guy Jeffrey was telling me about how his life has been changed because someone funded his ability to go to school. And so it's cool to see the real impact of people putting their lives on the line to share truth and share goodness, and just impact people they don't even know, and just try to make the world better. So I had dinner with the head of the university. Wonderful family, so nice, so kind. And then right after that, I went and spoke to a class about the power of storytelling. And so we sat down in a classroom and just had a Q&A for about an hour, and it was really fun. I don't know how well I did cross-culturally explaining things, but some things with storytelling that's the point of it, is it goes across cultures. So and it was just fun to sit in a room with people who grew up very different than me, and talk about storytelling and what I do for a living and my love for it. And so that kept me up a little bit later than I would have probably wanted to, but it was well worth it. Overall, Uganda was great. Got to fly on the plane. It was awesome. It was so fun. I was very focused on getting the shot, so I didn't get to enjoy the plane ride too much. And I don't know how well the footage turned out because it was really shaky up in a plane. But honestly, the people here are just wonderful. The locals, the missionaries. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me is how on point the families are missionally, and it really puts into perspective what it takes to be in a good marriage. The person you're married to isn't the focus necessarily, it's what you guys are doing together to build something. And now I'm just waiting for my ride to pick me up to go to the airport. It is almost midnight on Wednesday to Thursday. My flight is at 3:50 a.m. Don't know exactly what time I might get to Malawi, but basically I slept for an hour. Now I'm leaving to travel all day. Today might kill me. It's gonna be the longest day of the trip, I think. And I don't really know what to expect when I get to Malawi. I don't know what they expect from me, but I'm begging for a nap when I get there. I gotta be, professional. And if they want to meet and talk about the shoot, then we gotta do that. But we'll see what Malawi has. Something great, I'm sure. I'll see you there. Alright, I made it to Malawi. I'm filming for the same university, different campus in Malawi. I got here at probably 10:30. I'm staying in a duplex, which I can show you in a second. But it was a long day. And then I got here and they're like, okay, do you want to film right now? I was like, I can't stand up. And they're like, okay, why don't you rest for a little bit? So I slept for an hour, got lunch, and then texted them and said, all right, do you want to schedule the rest of the week? And we scheduled the week, and they're like, all right, let's go film right now. So I filmed the whole second half of the day, filmed some sporting events, went to an academy and filmed some kids. They were so cute, and they loved the camera. Then came back to campus, filmed some sports. It's basically kind of like a homecoming week here. So they have a lot of, I think a huge sport competition of soccer/football. They have a game called netball, which is kind of like basketball, but you can't move or guard the person. But it was cool. They were hyped about anytime someone scored. They were super hyped. They were cheering and singing songs. It was very, very fun. This is where I'm staying. Editor me's gonna hate this, but I'm gonna move this camera. So this is the living room area, little dining room area. I don't use any of these places. This is the kitchen. This is where I sleep. Have to have the netting. Only I think one mosquito got into my netting last night, and I killed it in the midnight swat, which was amazing. And this is the bathroom, which I have yet to use a shower. I don't want to shower every day, so water is limited. But today, like I said, we're filming a ton of stuff. I probably won't have a lot of time to vlog the trip, but you'll see it because my job is literally to film things. So here we go. You want to see? Can't get too close. Good, good. Smile. That was a lot. There's a lot to take in on that first visit outside of the campus. I mean, we traveled through this really, I guess, normal neighborhood. Drive through this neighborhood, get to this courtyard. It's just a big open dirt patch. And so many kids and adults just coming there for medical services. Some of these kids didn't have shoes. Some of these kids just, I don't know, who knows how far they walked. I actually have no idea. Apparently I talked to someone on campus and they said some kids here walk 15 kilometers, which is 9 miles. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of joy in this situation with these kids. When they saw the camera and they saw me, they just ran over. They loved the camera. It was so cute. They don't have much. And I know this is kind of probably all cliche and stuff people have said and thought before, but it's my first time, so I don't know, you always hear growing up, you gotta finish your food, or, starving kids in Africa, gotta finish your food. I think one of the parts that really got me is when all the kids were gathered around and I was filming them, and I had seen that shot before done by other people, other videographers, the kids just rushing over to the camera and wanting to be filmed. And I don't know, part of me always kind of wondered, like, what's the videographer, photographer think when they're taking this? And to have that realization, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm that videographer and I'm that photographer. All those kids, you know, they're kids. They're like real people. Who knows what their home life is like? Who knows where their home life is? And then after that, we came back and it was lunchtime. And I just ate lunch. I usually have a crew that I eat with. That's some doctors from Mississippi. They're fun, but they were out serving. I saw them out there serving, you know, outside of campus. And they had so much food for me. They had so much food, and it's a meal I'll never forget. I didn't know if I should not eat any of it or I should eat all of it. I know it sounds kind of stupid, but to go from people with nothing to being served food like I felt like I was a king or something, it's something that as I know is going to stick with me forever. You think about all the food waste in America, again, cliche things, but I've done it. How can I do that? How can you go back to wasting food? Something you forget about when you're watching other people's footage is they're real people out there. They have everyday lives. They're not just that 5-second clip. When you're done, they go home to wherever home is. They have their everyday struggles. I mean, the people you see helping them, you know, they have degrees or they're from other countries coming to visit. And all they're doing is just helping. That's it. They're just helping because someone needs to help. The people I traveled with from the campus, almost immediately when we got there, they just sat down and started serving the people, organizing medicine and handing things out and helping people in line. Like, they're like, okay, you go film. We're going to help immediately, just jumping in because it's their country and they want to help the people of the country. I don't know what this all means. Got a lot more to think about. All I know is I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. So let's answer the question that we proposed in the beginning. Is this something that you actually want to do with your life? Well, I'm going to answer it in 3 ways. First, ask yourself, why are you going? Before I left, I said my biggest fears were the water and the food because I didn't want to get sick. And honestly, I did get sick. A couple weeks out, I'm still struggling with a little bit of a stomach issue. And if I was being completely honest, my biggest fear was not doing a good job and hurting my career, not getting another opportunity to travel and film like this. But as I was there, my biggest fears changed. I started to be fearful that I wasn't good enough to actually tell the stories that these people deserve to have told. So if you're going for yourself, you may get sick. You may lose your gear. It may not be worth it to you. But if you're going to tell good stories and to help other people, then absolutely you should go. Also, it's not easy. The amount of travel that you do to get over to Africa is crazy. And then what you're required to do when you get there is also insane, on very little sleep, with very little control on actually what's going to happen. And it can be a little scary. The last night I was there, someone tried to break into where I was staying. It was like almost midnight. I'd been sleeping for a couple hours, and I heard this banging on my door. And I moved the mosquito net out of the way and jumped out of bed, slowly creeped down the hallway trying to find some sort of weapon because I was afraid someone would see my camera gear, and they followed me back, and all my biggest fears were coming true. And in that moment, my heartbeat was beating so fast, and I was honestly scared. Thankfully, praise God, it ended up only being someone who was lost and who thought they were supposed to stay in the same place that I was at. They ended up turning away shortly thereafter. But in that moment, I had to decide, was this trip worth it? You know, if they were trying to steal my gear, or did I put myself in danger? Is it still worth it to go to somewhere like this to tell stories? And traveling like this is a risk, without a doubt. And lastly, should you go? Do you want to meet new people across the world? Do you want to learn something more about cultures, but also about yourself? about the human race. Again, not to sound super grandiose or cliche, which I probably will, undoubtedly, but people are resilient, man. You see some of the tough stuff that people live in and go through every single day, and you realize how grateful you are for the problems that you have. It deepens your understanding of your own condition, of other people, of the world, and it makes you a better person, and it makes you a better storyteller, and you'll experience things that you can't put a price on. My name is Sam Johnston. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.